Two of them are pretty obvious. Can you name two of them?
I think Kennedy.
Bingo.
Ooh, and what was the other one?
This is hat.
Yeah.
This means hat. This is me giving you a hint. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, safe venting enthusiasts the world over, and esteemed international colleagues, welcome to the Mechanical Room. Raymond, thank you for being here. Who are you and what are you doing here in the United States?
I work for the mother company of Centrotherm, Centrotech, and in my role there I am responsible for maintaining the CRM system for all the companies within the group. And for that reason I am also supporting the US colleagues with sales, service and marketing.
So explain that to me like I have no idea who you are exactly. So CRM system, I know you do developing and stuff like that. Put it in a way that like somebody who doesn't really use computers, vaguely, what does that mean exactly? Is that even possible?
Yeah, I think it's possible. In my role, I typically talk with the salespeople, service people, and marketing people. How do you want to do your job, and how can we help you make it easier? And by asking them, we discover, hey, what is it that drives them, what helps them, what makes their life easier, and then we set it up in the CRM system the way they want it, and it works as easily as possible. While we make sure that the company gets the best information about all of their customers.
So you work for the mother company, which is Centrotech Industries. So you are, again, you have a hand in working with the Ubink UK, Ubink Belgium, Ubink France. Is it Ubink Italy? No, it's Centrotherm Italy.
Centrotherm Italy.
It's Ubink Germany now.
Ubink Germany. Yeah.
Maga.
My roofing, yes.
Do you work with the Wolf Schmidt guys as well?
No, we didn't.
Rolf Schmidt.
Rolf Schmidt. No,
Rolf Schmidt.
No.
So you don't work with those guys.
No.
Centroplast?
Centroplast.
Okay,
yeah.
and of course us. I don't know if I maybe forgot.
Yeah, you work in the Netherlands.
Oh, and the Netherlands, of course.
Yeah.
I forget that one because that's where your office generally is in the Netherlands office,
yeah.
Which I've had the pleasure of visiting, and it's a magical place filled with some of my favorite people. I must say. So, which sales group is the biggest pain in the ass?
I wanted to say the US, but no, I don't think there's a company which is a big pain in the ass.
Who has the most specific needs? Or rather, let me ask this in a different way. Do the European countries, as they're clustered together, despite language barrier, despite obvious borders, is the similarity between the Netherlands and France and the UK closer, and is the United States and Canada wildly different to deal with? In terms of our needs or in terms of how we operate?
If you look at how business is done in Europe, you see more similarities between the European countries. And there's a different way of working in the USA. But if you look at the UK and Belgium and France and Germany, there are a lot of similarities. There are local differences, but more or less it's the same.
I'm pretty fascinated by that. I guess I'm curious, what's a big... it's election day here in the land of the free. We're going to talk a lot about America today. I'm curious as to your impression of the difference between them. Like, what's one big thing that's different about, let's say, North America? And I'm including the lovely Dan Smith in our North American, book of business. Compared to our European colleagues, like, what's the big difference that you see?
The biggest difference is really how you approach the market using your sales reps.
Okay.
In the Netherlands, you see the wholesalers to which you are selling to your installers, and here in the United States, you see those sales reps in between, and that makes it different to handle.
And that does uniquely complicate your role because there's an extra layer, so to speak, in the channel. Is that correct?
Yeah. It was when I first arrived here. It took me a few hours to fully understand how that part is going here in the US.
Okay.
So that's where it really differs from the Netherlands, where you see a direct sales through your wholesaler, and here it's a different story.
Yeah, it's fascinating to see. I mean, I've been lucky, and I know a little bit about how the Ubink businesses operate in, in Europe, and certainly our rep model is a little bit different. I think it has a lot to do with the vastness of the territory. I want to say France is equivalent to like maybe New York and Massachusetts and Pennsylvania together, in terms of both population and size. I think France is about like 55 million people or so.
Yeah, something like that.
So that's about New York City plus Massachusetts plus Pennsylvania. The U.S. is 350 million. There's another 30 million people in Canada, and I think the square footage or square kilometers to Europeans is slightly larger here in the States. So I know you've been here now to the Centrotherm location for many years at this point, but this is probably your 6th or the 7th time that you've been here. Have you been to any other places in the States? Have you visited places with your family per se? Or...
Yeah, I've been to Florida. I've been to Canada, and I hope to do road trips with my wife somewhere in the future, also in America.
But at an undetermined location.
Undetermined, and I think the classical touristic spots, Route 66.
Oh, okay.
That sort of stuff.
So go through the West, even.
Yeah.
Okay, fascinating. That's an interesting. That wouldn't be, I think, maybe necessarily the top of people's lists. I think if someone said, "Oh, well, we got to go see, I don't know, Washington D.C. or go see the Statue of Liberty." Something like that. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, the Route 66, as I understand it, goes, I think, through the west, the southwest of the U.S. So Grand Canyon, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's America, man.
Yeah.
I don't think that really any place in Europe has that type of landscape.
No.
So it's a bit of a desert kind of thing in some respects, out in Arizona and like New Mexico, all that stuff. I don't think there's any place in Europe that's like that.
No, I don't think there's a real area like that. No. Definitely.
So, you've been here now many, many times. I said, what's another? I'm so fascinated by cultural differences. What's something that surprised you when you started coming to the United States?
Size of the food portions.
Food portions. Really? I mean, you're not the first person to say that. Just massive, massive food, right?
Yeah, I think I've never been able to fully finish a meal over here.
Well, I will say, it depends on where you go. Last night we went to De Raymond's. Shout out to De Raymond's over there in Loudonville, and I mean that's kind of a slightly nicer type of place,
yeah,
right?
Definitely.
And I think they're pretty reasonable. I mean, that wasn't like a mountainous pile of mac and cheese or something like that. We should take him to Druthers. And, there's a place, no, I'm kidding. We're not going to go there. Shout out to Druthers. You're not the best. If they watch this, sorry. There are areas of improvement you can work on. Call me. I'm happy to help. I have opinions on the matter. But one of their signature dishes, one that I will never order because it's just too much. It's they give you basically a skillet. So I don't know. Do you know skillet?
Yeah.
Okay. So a full skillet. And it's like a mountain of macaroni and cheese, and potentially you can have like pulled pork and stuff on it. I mean, that's the American stuff that you're talking about here, like 5 pounds, like 3 stone. I don't know. You don't use stone. That's not metric. I don't even know. Kilograms of mac and cheese, and that's how you order. I'll take 3 kilos of pulled pork, please. Yeah, that's funny. I must say that in my European dining experiences, I don't feel as though it's that much less, though. I mean, is there a particular, like the size of a burger or something like that? Is there a particular food that you're talking about that you think it really has it, or just in general?
I think just in general. I think for the most restaurants I visited here, it was the same story. The food is good, tastes excellent. A lot of good restaurants here in the neighborhood, but really I never.
We don't go hungry.
Don't go home hungry. Definitely.
That's amazing. So to get back to the Centrotherm stuff here, you're here and we are discussing changes to the CRM. And for anybody who doesn't know, that's Customer Resource Manager.
Customer Relationship Management.
Okay. Damn, ERP. That's what that is. Enterprise. So many acronyms. It drives me, pretty bonkers. ERP is Enterprise Resource Planner.
Management. Enterprise Resource Planner. Yeah.
Okay, and then CRM, Customer Relationship Manager.
Yeah.
But we do have I mean, we do have some resource stuff in there as well. Some related ERP stuff. We do handle like customer cases.
There's a gray area between the applications, definitely.
We have to maybe define these acronyms a little bit sharper so that I'm not as confused. So how did you get started? I know you're certified with Microsoft and all that sort of stuff. You came to Centro Tech within the last 5 or 6 years, so that's not the beginning of your career. Where did you start? What's your educational background? How did you get to be our Microsoft power user and stuff like that?
Yeah, I started my study as a systems manager, so more on the hardware side. I never felt anything with the software side. But when I finished schools, it was hard to find a job, and suddenly I found a job with a local company which was selling CRM systems. And I thought, okay, well, it's a good way to start, get some real insights about how business work, and then suddenly I hope I will promote to somewhere on the hardware side. But then suddenly I became aware that I had some talents on the software side, I had some insights, so quite quickly I rolled into the role of a consultant, technical consultant, architect, and so within 3 or 4 months, I became a consultant, and I started my career in 2006. And before I joined Centro Tech, I was always a consultant in one or another area. So I've always been a consultant, loved doing it, and for me, the biggest prize of having a job like this is working with the people. In the past, you saw a lot of IT projects where IT business, and they never consulted the sales force, the service people, the marketing people. And for me, the biggest prize in my work is working with a lot of fantastic people in the industry.
Excellent, including the pain-in-the-ass Americans.
Including there's only one.
We know who we're talking about out here, I think. It's probably me. No, it's actually funny. I mean, we have a very specific way of doing stuff, and also we kind of want it that way. I mean, I imagine one of the difficulties of your role is being pulled in several different directions, and also having to come up with, or rather, manage the expectations of all of these different international teams, right? And we have certainly a specialty type of thing, so it's divergent from the other ones, just based on geography, based on go-to-market strategy and stuff like that. So we probably present to you, I'm guessing, one of the, not challenging, because I mean you're talented, you can do the stuff, but it requires a little bit more of I don't know, analysis, I think. Do you struggle sometimes to understand what we're even asking for?
Sometimes you have to really ask a question, and then based on the answer, ask another question, and keep doing that to fully understand what the wishes are in behind. There are some, as I said, are some differences between Europe and the USA. And sometimes it takes a few minutes to fully understand, hey, what are we trying to achieve here? How do we want to do it? And how can we make life easier? So sometimes it takes a few minutes to comprehend.
I mean, everybody, so literal language barrier stuff, but also sometimes it's difficult to articulate what it actually is that we're looking for. I mean, in particular, I think you are here this week to work on an addition of adding another layer of data to certain accounts in the CRM and stuff like that. And that's a thing that just doesn't exist in Europe at all.
No, not in that way. No.
So it's a learning experience, it's a translation sort of thing, and then of course it's the actual physical doing of the stuff. Which, did you take your actual, what do you call it? It's Microsoft certified, or what's the actual title or certification?
I'm a Microsoft certified professional, so that's what they call MCP in the end. And typically you have to recertify each year to show, hey, I understand the product, I know how to work with it. But that's just on the software side. It doesn't say anything about the business side.
Gotcha. So Microsoft certification, does that give you any access to the weather control Microsoft,
I wish it would. Then I would have lots of better weather in the Netherlands.
Have you heard about that conspiracy theory?
I heard about it.
Okay. Bill Gates, as you know, puppet master. He controls the weather. He controls.
Yeah, he controls everything.
He controls Hollywood, or the whole 9 yards, what have you. So actually, what did that entail? Is it online classes? Is it? I mean, like just take me through the process of achieving this certification.
Yeah, in the past there were. You were literally in a classroom teaching stuff from a teacher, and then you took your exam and you passed or you didn't pass. You didn't need to have I believe it was 80% or something, 80% success rate, and then you're qualified. But slowly it transformed to self-service courses. So you study a few weeks on your laptop, and then at a moment in time you take your course online. And then you, again, 70-80%, and then you have then you have had your certification.
So, set modesty aside. How simple, how easy was it for you? Did you know most of the stuff already, or how much of it was new?
I think when I started doing the classes, it was difficult. Now. These days you just prepare for the course, maybe 1-2 days, and then you take your certification and then you pass.
Is it every year now you have to do this, or every
I
other year?
have to recertify each year.
Each year?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, and it's fairly simple at this point now. Did you brush up on? Is it new stuff that they're adding? I mean, because obviously they're updating things and.
Yeah, there's always new stuff being added, but you see the foundation, it changes a little bit over time, but. There's not a huge change. There's new functionality, but in the end, it covers the same story again.
So, could ChatGPT do your job?
Probably. No, I don't think ChatGPT will be able to understand people.
That's a bit of an inside joke there, but we're not going to go into that. But I have another random question, because ChatGPT just gets everybody. I mean, not ChatGPT. AI overall is obviously a very hot topic. Do you use AI at all in anything to help you in really in any way? Maybe even in your personal life.
I use it more and more. I've got 2 children on school, and sometimes. For instance, when they need a certain image or so, I use ChatGPT to generate an image. My youngest child is very curious about everything what's going on in the world, and she asks ChatGPT questions for answers that she's looking for. So I see that it's becoming more and more embedded in our lives.
How old are the children?
My youngest one is 9 and the oldest one is 15.
And so the one that was 9 is now asking these questions about the world.
Yeah.
What is an example of a question in which you did not know how to reply? Maybe a difficult question or uncomfortable one, perhaps?
She's fascinated about animals.
Animals?
So sometimes she comes home.
Sorry, guys. Who we got here? Oh, it's Dan. I'll talk to him in a little bit.
So she's fascinated about animals, and each time she learns about a new animal, and of course I don't know every animal, and then she starts asking me questions about those animals.
Like how long does a rhinoceros live? That kind of stuff, or
yeah, but also what are the endangered species in the world, and which is the most endangered species, and what are they eating, and how are they sleeping, and all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
And we always have a game at home where we say, hey, I've got an animal in my head, and then you have to start asking questions to guess the right animal. And in the past, I used to win, and nowadays she's starting to win more and more of those games because she knows a lot more about animals than I do.
That's hilarious. If we played that game, I would just automatically say rabbit, because that's of course what goes on at my house. So that's what's the most obscure animal that she stumped you on?
I think the last time it was something with a spider.
Some kind of species of spider.
Yeah.
Okay. There's probably there's obviously dozens, hundreds of spider species. That's a bit of a trick question. She's kind of like she's working the system to win this game a little bit.
Definitely. Oh, definitely. She knows how to cheat.
It's not even actually cheating, really. It's more like manipulating the rules, which is kind of a good transition into Election Day, which is today. You're here in the U.S., came all the way from the Netherlands to vote several times in our election.
Yeah, we tried to do it yesterday.
So, without getting political at all, because this is, my personal opinions, yours aside, that's not what this is about at all. I thought it would be kind of fun to ask you a few presidential trivia questions, because, for sure, it's weird to say this, but I'm sure you'll agree, U.S. politics is world politics.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
For better or worse, generally for worse. And pat on the back to most of the world who is able to maintain your local stuff at home, of course, and the EU at large, right? I mean, you're affected by Netherlands government and European Union, and even like British stuff as well. And we do a little bit of exporting, yada yada yada. Plus, you're dealing with U.S. dollar stuff all the time, So, compared to us in the States, we pretty much don't give a shit about any other country here. So we don't know anything about like who's running what this country or that country. Like we barely, we say, that's France, that's over there. They're doing their thing, whatever that is. And we're over here, in the land of the free.
Yep.
So with that sort of imperialist arrogance, let's test you a little bit on your knowledge of American U.S. politics and slight history. I have a feeling you're going to do better than I would do if you asked me Netherlands questions. So. All right, easy one to start. Who was the first U.S. president?
Oh, damn. Was it... Oh, damn. Probably going to say it wrong. Was it George Washington?
That is correct. Excellent. So we're going to have Jordan put like little ding or maybe like the shriek of an eagle flying by when you get these correct. So George Washington, of course, on the $1 bill, of course. Also, I believe on the quarter. And he's got the big phallic monument in D.C., the straight up one. And of course, our capital is named after him. And then there's a state named after him in the Pacific Northwest. And many cities, I suppose. Washington is just everywhere. It's just Washington all the time, right? So we got that one out of the way. All right.
So glad I made that one.
Okay. So, all right. How about? I'm making these up as I go along here. So they're gonna be maybe a little zany off the wall. Let's go dark, right? I would say dark. 4 United States presidents have been assassinated. 2 of them are pretty obvious. Can you name 2 of them?
I think Kennedy.
Bingo.
Ooh, and what was the other one?
This is hat.
Yeah.
This means hat. This is me giving you a hint.
It gives me a hint, but I really don't.
Civil War.
Yeah. Beard. Portrayed by Daniel Day-Lewis in the recent Steven Spielberg biopic.
Yeah. I can see a figure in front of me, but...
4-7 years ago. I don't know the rest of it. That's the only part of it I know.
Yeah, the name doesn't pop up. I can see him in front of me, but the name doesn't pop up.
So I believe the capital of Nebraska is named after him as well. He's on the penny. Mr. Abraham Lincoln.
Lincoln. Yeah.
Lincoln. So Daniel Day-Lewis was in the recent movie. He's like a tall, kind of soft-spoken, interesting guy. Of course, he got assassinated at Ford's Theater by John Wilkes Booth in 1865, I want to say. Gettysburg Address. One of the more famous, well-known ones. I think because of the beard and the hat also. He's kind of looks interesting, I suppose. Interesting-looking fella. That's what he's known for. Weird-looking guy, So the other 2 people that were assassinated, I would never expect you to get these guys. You probably haven't even heard of James Garfield.
Yeah.
It was in 1870s or something like that.
Yeah.
And in 1901, William McKinley was assassinated. And these are 2 caretaker presidents. I mean, people that didn't do much, So I don't know. All right. Do you know who's on the $20 bill?
No. I have to say, I only pay by Visa here, so.
That's perfect. We should start putting these presidents on these credit cards.
Yeah, then it would help me.
Or world figures. Actually, that would be better. I mean, my American Express works when I'm in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
It works when I'm in Paris. So why is it just a boring purple color? We should have, I think, global figures.
Definitely. That would be nice.
That'd be interesting, right?
Yeah, instead of those black cards and stuff.
Yeah, I have my Visa card is just plain black. It's boring. Yeah. I mean, who would be a nice global celebrity to have on there? I don't know. Beyonce.
Yes.
I mean, she's known the world over.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
Elton John. I want him on my Delta Sky Miles card.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorites. You know, none of these. You know, I guess Beyonce's from Texas. Elton John, not American. On my American Express, my British Express card. So, have you been to Washington D.C.?
No, I haven't visited. Yeah.
All right, here's an easy one. What's the dwelling? Where does the president live?
In the White House.
That's right. Excellent.
Yeah.
That's an easy one. Where does the prime minister of the Netherlands live?
It's in the Hague area.
Oh, is there a name of the? So he lives in the Hague.
Yeah, there's
what?
a special house where
Okay.
which he lives in during his reign period, but don't know the exact location.
Okay.
I have to admit.
But it's in the Hague, which is what, like 30 kilometers south of Amsterdam or something like that, or further than that.
Yeah, it's a
100.
little bit further. Yeah.
Okay, I've not been to the Hague. I'd like to. International Court and stuff like that. Obviously, a very famous location. I wonder if there's the name for the. There probably is like a famous dwelling. Is it the same place that they end up moving into? You know, and it is a prime minister, correct? Yeah. Okay. I gotta get my Netherlands facts straight before when I come over there. We do the Netherlands podcast, and then I seem like an idiot because all I know is like I like Amsterdam. You know? I like, you know, the canals are great. Van Gogh, you know.
Most people always think that you've got Amsterdam and that's the Netherlands.
So which is selling it very short, I must say. Maastricht and Duisburg area, you know, the was it the Dutch Alps? Is that what they're called? That's over the border to Germany, though. That's the Olbsburg area, I want to say. That is Germany, right?
Yeah, that's
okay.
right.
It kind of blends close because the border. Duisburg is how far from the German border?
Yeah, I think it's 20, 25 kilometers.
Yeah, quickly,
like
right?
that. So
yeah.
it's not too far from the German border.
I think very similarly, people have an interesting impression of the U.S. that it is. I mean, I guess people understand New York City is different than say Texas. But of course, everything gets glommed together into like a big American stereotype. And similarly, I would bet you that the average American knows almost nothing about the Netherlands. You know, maybe they know Red Light District, or you know.
I think that's the most common part.
The coffee shops of Amsterdam.
The drugs legalization.
Right,
and that sort of stuff.
That's about it, I think. They don't, and it's too bad because you know in this area specifically there is so much Dutch influence. You know, I believe your hotel is right outside of Half Moon, which was named after the Half Main, I think it was. Of course, Henry Hudson sailing for the Dutch, you know, in the 1600s. Yeah. And in this area, I mean, are you surprised when you see all these Dutch names everywhere?
Oh, definitely. Sometimes you even see certain names and they think, how did that came up here? There was in the neighborhood here, Van Vliet.
Van Vliet?
Yeah, something like that. And then you start thinking, hey, that's the real Dutch influence. Sure. It looks like Dutch influence.
Well, I live in a city called Rensselaer, super Dutch. Yeah. I mean, Schuylerville and Van Alsten is the street that I live off of. I mean, so this area, I mean, and obviously the tulips and stuff like that. So like, that's what I would say about Amsterdam, you know, the tulips on the streets and stuff like that. And stamppot, you know, traditional, delightful stew.
Yeah, poffertjes.
I'm lucky I've been exposed to most of the Netherlands. The only place that I've not really been is like in the north.
Yeah.
Where I want to say there's that island that was man-made.
Yeah, Flevoland. Yeah.
That was
the one in the middle. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I've not been there. But Amsterdam is the west coast. Duisburg is the east coast. Maastricht is the southernmost point. Yeah. So, I mean, I've been pretty lucky that I've got to explore your homeland, which I find to be a lovely and amazing place. So much so, I think you've even seen the Amsterdam tattoo that I have.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's you know, it's on me forever, and that is a place that I will always, you know, I love to go back. I just, my personal favorite element is when you get deep into the canals. It's a city of 800,000 people, 900,000 people, big metropolis. When you get deep into the canals, you can't hear cars anymore. Yeah. It's like quiet. It's like a completely, I mean, to me, the atmosphere in Amsterdam is, I mean, it's just one of the most, like you could feel the energy. It has, to me, there's just music in the air in Amsterdam. It's one of my favorite places to go.
Oh, definitely, totally true.
I can't wait to get back. It's been a little while. For me. You know, I've been several times now, but it's been a bit, and I can't wait to go back there. Visit my favorite coffee shops, of course. You know, so. We have some of that going on here in the States now as we march towards legalization. I don't know what president started that, but more in the recent history here. So, all right, let's see if I can come up with one final good presidential question, and then we'll let you get back to making our CRM system hum for our sales guys and making those accounts available at a button push, you know,
Yeah,
that sort of
definitely.
thing. So let's see. All right, we covered Washington, got Lincoln in there. How about, okay, this is, how far can you go? Our current president is Joseph Biden. Count backwards on with the presidents.
Damn.
Let's see how far you can go. I'll give you hints. I'll give you some hints. So, before Biden, obviously it was
Was it?
the guy with the hair.
Was it the one who was in elections now?
That is correct.
Trump.
He's the one with the very natural tan. Yeah. So, and then prior to him,
Was it
for
Obama?
two terms, it was Mr. Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Before Obama. So now we're going back into where we are now in another two-term president from 2001 to 2008. And that was
Was it Bush?
correct.
And then, Junior then, right?
Bush, George W. Bush, correct. And then prior to him,
Was it Clinton?
that was correct.
Yeah.
For two terms for Clinton. And then before Clinton,
Oh damn. That's a good one. Really would know.
very short, one-term president here.
Yeah.
He was the vice president of the previous guy. So now we're going back 30 years. You've done exceptionally well, by the way. I mean, we're getting to the point where like I'm not even born yet when the previous guy was there. So before Clinton was George Herbert Walker Bush,
Yeah.
and then he was the vice president of Ronald Reagan. So, and that takes us back to 1980, I want to say.
Yeah,
We could probably stop there. Before then, after that, it was Jimmy Carter, Gerald Ford, Richard Nixon, Lyndon Johnson. We mentioned Kennedy before, and then it was Eisenhower and Truman, Franklin Roosevelt. Before that, was it Wilson? No, that's World War I. There's somebody in there I'm missing in the 1920s. Oh, like Herbert Hoover. Now we're going back into points. People who've been dead for so long, it doesn't even matter at this point. And definitely a bunch of ridiculous presidents like aren't on the dollar or any coins. Not important. Nobody cares about Millard Fillmore. Nobody cares about James Buchanan. There's a lot of these guys. It's been 47 of them, or there's about to be.
We're going for the 47, right?
We're going for the 47th round now. So, excellent job. I could not possibly tell you any real
We're
like
not going to
basic
do all the
facts.
kings of the Netherlands then.
Yeah. Oh, I was like,
At least 80 to 90% of Americans could not name what you just said.
to do it as well as him, just domestically speaking. Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, you're a citizen of the world. I mean, so paying attention. And as we said, U.S. politics are global politics in some ways, for better, but generally for worse. I mean, that's just how it is. It is how it is. So, I mean, I think most people would agree. I think we're all, regardless of who you're, which faction you're a part of at this point, we are so, just coded in this for so long now. Everybody's just so tired of it. And it's like, can we, we didn't have to think about the president every single day of your life for, many years. Nowadays, it's like you can't escape it. It's like, I mean, the internet is part of it too. Yeah, for sure. I agree, Jordan, that our access to information and our little our doom scrolling devices here, just like like all day,
Flip phones and iPads. I wasn't iPod, so
Yeah, that's you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, we can blame the IT people for making it so easy to have, and have it at our fingertips here. So what the hell have you done to us?
Yeah, taking away all the freedom.
Freedom. My mental health is suffering. Oh my God! I got all these presidents in my CRM system.
Yeah.
We
We should come up with a table for that one.
option set to email them all my complaints. Gerald Ford, you've been dead for 20 years, but goddamn, we got to tell you how it is. Oh boy! All right. That seems like a good place to call it a day. Raymond, thank you so much for joining us here. I appreciate you taking the time here to say hello and to play some trivia games with us, and also explain kind of a bit of the hierarchy of the company. I think you're amongst the. I'd have to see if you're our first European colleague to come on and do something like this. I think I asked Stephanie, and there just wasn't enough time to do it
Yeah.
last time she was here. So we'll have to get her on next time too.
Oh,
So
definitely.
she'd be a great guest as well.
Absolutely.
One of my
absolutely.
favorite people to work with, much like you are, much like all of your colleagues in that particular office.
Definitely.
I mean, I can't say enough, and I can't thank you and Gael and Martijn and Stephanie and Mark Bloom and I mean even Pierre-Henri and Sander and all these guys who I've now met, and Jordan knows now as well. In the sales and marketing department, that's my corner, our corner of the Central Tech empire. Everybody is incredibly kind and generous. And,
Definitely.
Yeah.
There are great people working over there.
Yes, and you fit in nicely in that mold as well. So we thank you for coming here to help us out, advance our our CRM systems and our sales strategy, and also for joining us here in the Blue Room.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.